The boy was no longer a boy. 18 today. At exactly 18:12, he stood alone in the attic, the old watch in his hand, ticking louder than it should. The same time, the same date, the one they had whispered about for years. Outside, the sky had turned an unnatural shade of orange. Inside, shadows stretched like they knew something. He checked the time again. 11 p.m., 1 minute left. He didn't know what was supposed to happen, only that something would. The watch began to glow, faint at first, then brighter, pulsing like a heartbeat. And in that moment, everything went still. No sound, no wind, not even his breath. You're in Tales of the Watcher, where fates are glimpsed, not told, and every step you take is seen by eyes you'll never meet. The air hums with secrets, daring you to listen. Stick around, subscribe for the journey, and in today's story, it was raining the day Thomas found the shop. Not just raining, pouring like the sky was trying to scrub the world clean. He hadn't planned to stop, just a shortcut on the way home from daycare, pushing the stroller with his 2-year-old son half asleep inside. But when the rain hit harder, stinging and wild, he ducked under the nearest awning. That's when he saw it, a narrow storefront wedged between a laundromat and a vacant bakery. The display was dust-covered, barely visible, but the sign, warped wood and fading paint, still clung to the doorframe. A. Weiss, horologist. Repairs, restorations, time. Curious, Thomas pushed open the door. It resisted, then creaked open with a sound that echoed deeper than it should have, like it was waking something old. Inside, time had stopped. The ticking of clocks was faint, as if heard underwater. Shelves overflowed with brass parts, tiny screwdrivers, fragments of broken time. The air was thick with the scent of machine oil, old wood, and something sweet, like cinnamon and rust. Behind a glass counter sat an old man hunched over a magnifying lens. His hands moved with patience that didn't belong to this century. Thomas cleared his throat. "I have an old watch. It doesn't work. I was hoping you could take a look." He pulled it from his coat. A pocket watch, worn, tarnished, but still elegant. It had belonged to his grandfather, or maybe even earlier. No one in the family was sure. He laid it gently on the counter. The watchmaker didn't open it, didn't touch a tool. He just picked it up, held it close to his ear, and listened. Silence. Then, a subtle narrowing of his eyes, as if the sound he heard wasn't from the watch, but from something far away. After a moment, he spoke. October 14th, 2041, at exactly 18:12. Thomas blinked. "Sorry?" The old man finally looked up. His eyes were strange, cloudy like marbled glass, yet focused, unsettlingly so. "That's when it matters, for the boy." He nodded toward the stroller, where the toddler now slept, curled in a blanket, oblivious. "I don't understand," Thomas said. The man only repeated, 18:12, October 14th, 2041. "Is that when it'll start working again?" The watchmaker gave a faint smile, not kind, not cruel, just knowing. "No," he said. "That's when everything stops." Then, without another word, he set the watch down, still broken, and turned away, vanishing into the shadows behind the counter. Thomas stood there for a moment, not sure if he should wait or run. Even the rain outside had gone quiet. The watch was placed on a shelf in the living room. No one ever touched it, not because it was precious, but because, somehow, they all sensed it wasn't just a watch. Life moved on. The little boy, Isaac, grew fast, all energy and questions and skinned knees. His mother, Elise, ran the house with quiet grace and eyes that noticed everything, even when she pretended not to. The oldest daughter, Naomi, was sharp-tongued and bold. She'd roll her eyes at the creepy old clock, especially when their father reminded them, again, of the date and time, October 14th, 2041, 6:12 p.m. "Don't forget," he'd say, always half joking, always half serious. The youngest, Lily, was barely walking when it began. The dreams. Isaac started waking up at night, saying things that didn't make sense. The red sky again. Why is the attic glowing? Elise thought it was just a phase. But then Lily began drawing things, clocks with wings, staircases in the sky, shadows with no feet. Naomi, ever the skeptic, laughed it off. Kids are weird. Stop letting them watch scary stuff. But no one was showing them anything. And the watch began to tick, just for a moment. It happened once, while Elise was cleaning. She reached up to dust the shelf and heard it tick. She froze, listened closer. Nothing. Later that week, Lily asked her out of nowhere, "Mommy, why does the watch glow sometimes?" Elise's breath caught. Glow. Only when Isaac's close to it, but only at night. She smiled like a child would. Proud of a secret, Elise didn't sleep that night. The next morning, she went looking for the watchmaker. The shop was gone, not boarded up, not closed, gone, as if it had never been there at all. By the time Isaac was 17, he had stopped thinking about the watch. It sat quietly on the shelf above his desk, dusty, harmless. Life had taken over. Essays, late-night gaming, whispered conversations with friends over cracked phone screens. At school, he was decent at math, hopeless at sports, and oddly drawn to history. One afternoon, in his last class of the day, the teacher was explaining how civilizations marked time, sundials, calendars, star charts. On the board, written in capital letters, was the phrase, "Always pay attention to the clock." It was meant as a metaphor, something about revolutions, empires rising and falling. But Isaac's eyes stuck to it. The words hummed in his chest like déjà vu. That night, he pulled out his notebook and, without knowing why, wrote, 6:12 p.m., October 14th, don't forget. He didn't remember writing it before, but the handwriting was his. A few weeks later, in the cafeteria, he sat across from Camilla, the kind of girl who asked strange questions and wore headphones without music. Between bites of sandwich, she said casually, "I think our grandmothers knew each other. My abuela said something once about a man in your family who could hear time." Isaac paused mid-chew. "Sorry, what?" Camilla shrugged. "Could have been poetic. Old people say weird stuff. Maybe she meant he was just good with clocks or something." She laughed. Isaac didn't. That night, he got his first debit card in the mail. Opened the envelope, activated it, and typed in the temporary PIN Dajo 612. His fingers hesitated. Coincidence. Just a number. But it was like the world was circling him. Not fast, not loud, just circling. Quiet reminders. Whispers in the fabric of his days. And always, beneath it all, the ticking. October 14th, 2041, a Thursday. Sky overcast. Temperature mild. Nothing remarkable. Isaac turned 18 that morning. No party. He didn't ask for one. Just breakfast with the family. Pancakes, made by Lily, burned on one side. Naomi sent a video call from her apartment. Elise hugged him longer than usual. Thomas looked at him like he was trying to memorize his face. "Big year," someone said. "Yeah," Isaac replied. He didn't say why. At school, everything was too normal. Locker jammed, pencil snapped, vending machine ate his coins, the usual. During his free period, he sat in the library scrolling through college applications he hadn't started. He paused at one, horology and mechanical engineering. Bern Institute, he didn't remember bookmarking it. At lunch, Camilla handed him a cupcake. Happy birthday, mystery boy. She wore that same necklace, a tiny hourglass on a silver chain. He'd seen it 100 times. But today, it looked different. You ever feel like days repeat themselves? He asked. All the time, she replied, licking frosting off her thumb. Sometimes I think déjà vu is just your future echoing backward. She said it without looking at him. He stared at her for a long time. At 4:36 p.m., he got a text from the bank confirming his new account had been activated. Account number ending in 41812. He stopped walking, didn't respond. That number had followed him since he was a child, always the same digits, rearranged, hidden. But there, he thought of the chalkboard at school, the drawings Lily made when she was 6, the way the attic door never truly stayed closed. At 5:52 p.m., he entered the house. No one was home. A note on the kitchen counter. Went out for dinner supplies, be back before 6. He walked upstairs, past his room, past the family, photos, to the attic. The door opened without a sound. 6:11 p.m. Isaac stood in the attic. The air was still. The dust in the light from the window seemed frozen. The watch ticked in his hand, but it wasn't about the watch anymore. He looked around. Old boxes, childhood memories, a half-disassembled telescope, his grandfather's books. The attic wasn't magical. It was just full of things they'd forgotten. Then, footsteps, light ones. The door creaked open. Lily, and someone with her. A girl, about his age, maybe a little younger, quiet, observant. "We're looking for that old sketchbook," Lily said, half whispering, like the air was sacred. "Hi," the other girl said. Her voice was soft. Familiar, though he couldn't place it. "You're Isaac, right? I think our grandmothers knew each other." Isaac's breath caught. The girl walked over to a stack of books, picked one up and held it to the light. Inside, a photo of their grandmothers. Together, young, smiling. "She told me to find you," the girl said. "On your 18th birthday." He looked at the watch. 12 p.m. It stopped. Not with a flash, not with a whisper, just gently. Isaac smiled. Not because he understood everything, but because he didn't need to. Sometimes, life folds itself into place with small things. A conversation, a face, a moment. Sometimes the prophecy isn't doom, it's an invitation, and Isaac had just been called to something, to someone, to a beginning. Some moments don't shout, they whisper, and if you listen closely, they might just change everything. If you felt it too, share this story. Or tell me, what should the watcher see next?